What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in a Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's project, the Smith and Parker Old Daddy T Sport Edition. There it is, 231,000 kilometers on this one. We did pick it up from the auction where we did get a little bit ripped off by almost 4 grand this time. Not normally quite that bad. That one is quite a bad one. This does have the V8 2-carb overhead valve supercharged engine, currently running at 290 horsepower. We are going to be squeezing as much as we can out of that engine today, throwing into tuning parts, performance parts, whatever you want to call them. We will be keeping it the supercharged engine, though, because I do love them and they look pretty cool. This one, I believe, is fully covered. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what color we paint it. I am obviously still going to make it look as cool as I can. There ain't much on this. The tyres need to be a little thinner so that they don't poke through into the body anymore. Only on one side, though, apparently. Oh, there's no wheel on the other side. And a weird step up on there. That was bizarre. Don't know what happened there. Love the interior on this. Is going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing what liveries I've got for this one and what colour we're going to pick and how we're going to paint all of this exposed suspension components. I'm not sure, but let's get it started and let's get over to the car wash and get this one cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash. Let's get the blue old Daddy T cleaned up. Don't know what's going on with my camera there. That was having a funny 5 minutes. Look at that. Lots of rust on it. Maybe that is the livery, though. There's normally a rusted livery with these. But let's get the interior done. Let's get it back on the lift. And let's get that supercharged V8 ripped out and stripped down. Car is up in the air. Let's have a look for the oil pan. It is in there, so we do need to drain the oil. Let's grab you and peer you over. No more Easter eggs. Get you drained. Lovely dirty oil there. Quite a bit of it, though. Anyway, there's that done. Let's get you put away. Let's have a look what we've got going on here. No drive shaft, so I don't have to remove that. So let's just crack on and get the starter, the gearbox, and these front exhaust sections out. So we can get this beast of an engine ripped out. And we can get that engine bay cleared up next as soon as we got all of this out. So let's get going. Off you come from there. Let's get out of here. Let's put it back on the ground. And grab that lifter. We got the lifter. Let's get this engine ripped out. Out you come. Nice and easy. Thank you very much, little car. Let's get this engine bay cleared. How many liquids do we have in here? 1, 2, 3 that need to be drained. Got the fuse box down the back, battery. Fuse box down the back there. Battery's just at the front. And obviously we've got the fuel tank with the fuel pump. So let's get all of these drained. Additional tools, drainage tool. Click and hold. And it drains. Catch you in a second. All of the liquids drained. Hopefully when I rip these out, it doesn't charge me anything. That's a good sign, that's a good sign, and that's a good sign. We have got a battery that we do have to throw on at charge. Let's get this fuel pump out, even if I can't get the tank out. And then let's get this fuse box off. But actually, before I do that, let's just have a look what we got going on underneath with the suspension. Nice leaf springs, do like them, with some shock absorbers. Lots of colour in underneath that. That'll be cool. Is it disc brakes? No, it is drum brakes at the back, unfortunately. And let's have a look at the front suspension. A double wishbone with a single shock. Not too bad. I will get most of this all stripped off of camera. Obviously, I'm currently working on the engine bay. I don't know why it lets me do it. Actually, it doesn't for some of it. Some bits it does, some bits it doesn't, but never mind. So yeah, I'm going to get the rest of this fuse box finished. Then I'm going to get the suspension all stripped out, all of this out from under here. And then we'll get the engine dismantled and the body. I'll see you back here before we head over to the paint shop when we get all the bodywork back on. Next up, we'll sort that engine out. I'll see you in just a few minutes. All the suspension is stripped off the older Daddy T. Looking a bit bizarre with nothing on it. Very narrow at the front apart from that big goofy headlight. But let's go and get that V8 stripped down. Battery on charge en route. Let's throw you on and start stripping this one down and see what we are missing. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look here. Doesn't look like we're missing anything, although there's some weird shadowy effect going on there. I've not seen that before. That's new. See that? Bit bizarre, but anyway, it doesn't look like there's anything missing from this engine, which is definitely a good sign. So let's get on and start stripping it down. Off comes the fan at the front. We love you. Biggest fan. See what I did there? No? Fair enough. Anyway, let's carry on and stripping this. I mean, we've stripped this engine multiple times. We don't need to see it too much. Let's just get in, get underneath some of these covers that we got going on here. Have a look what's going on underneath. Underneath that should be a timing chain and a coil or a gear, whatever you want to call it. Let's just make sure. Hopefully it's not missing. Shouldn't be. Normally isn't when it's covered. No, there it is. Nice and simple. We've obviously got the ignition wires, if I could get them off. And I've just leveled up. Thank you, game. 48 now. There you go. Both clips off of there. The distributor cap and a rotor all out of that. What have we got under here? Obviously the filters, the carburetors, and the supercharger. All going to be changed to performance parts. And squeeze as much horsepower as we can out of this little beast of the old Daddy T. Fun little hot rod. I'm loving this DLC. What do you guys all think of the DLC while I'm just sat here stripping an engine? What do you guys think? Are you enjoying it? Do you wish there was more engines? Do you like the liveries, the painting options? What do you like? Let me know in the comments below. What would you guys like to see me do to one of these cars? You know, no object, get in the config and erase it. I'm not going to do all of them now because that will take me forever. But yeah, if you've got any ideas, suggestions you'd like to see for a config, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll get around to making it. Make it nice and pretty for you. Obviously, I have a liking to slamming vehicles. And you sadly, most of these ones, with the way they are set up with these hot rods, you can't really slam them because of the way the suspension sits up at the front end. I'm going to give up stripping this engine and I'm going to go show you. I'll get the rest of this stripped off camera, but I'll just show you why you can't really slam these cars. All the suspension stuff all bolts onto these and it fits really nicely. As soon as you lower it, it all comes out of alignment with this. So you ended up with your lower suspension arm here and your upper suspension arm here and your actual main shock going into nothing up here. Cutting through it, they do look bizarre. I've tried a few different techniques. I am going to try and lower it. I think I've got this one lowered. Maybe not the best, but we have got it lowered. So that one will be coming up at some point in the near future. Obviously, I'm going to get all of these out of the way first. Get some more exciting things from the workshop done. Maybe a Batmobile or two, we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to go back and then get the rest of this engine all stripped down and ready to build back up. Next time you're with me, though, we will be dismantling the body of that car, getting that all repaired, all the work done on that, ready to go over to the paint shop. So I'll see you in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to spend a little while removing all of these rocker arms and the piston rods, whatever they're called. What are these called? Valve push rods. There we go. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll meet you back by the car in just a little while when this is all stripped down. Just finished stripping down that beautiful V8 engine. It is now time to jump in and get this body stripped off. Let's just start with it. I'm not 100% sure what's a fender and what's not. Doesn't look like any of that is. That's a door. Is that a window? Is it missing? Is it a It is a missing window. That's all right then. Let's just double checking that. Fender. Oh, let's get the whole trunk. And the tail lights hiding in under there. Off you come. Off the fender and then the door, and I think that's it. Just got to get them interior seats out. I do love them seats. They look amazing. Obviously, the seats themselves are just the two center insert bits, but that surround looks absolutely incredible. I do love it. That is the little old Daddy T stripped, I believe. Let's just double check it. Looks to be down to 1%. That is normally... Oh, was that a body part or was that the exhaust? That's all right. Let's go grab the welder and let's get this body up to scratch then. Come on, you. Over you come. Let's get this going. How much is this going to cost? 1,300. Oh, my God. That was purely a guess off the top of my head. Yeah, that was a bit worrying. Exactly 1,300, but never mind. Ah, it hasn't fixed the... Oh, maybe that is the livery on it. It has actually got the rusted livery on it because the frame's now up to 100% and it still looks rusty. So that's good to know. That does have the rusted livery on it. It wasn't just a really bad looking car. Good to know that one. I'm going to go repair some body panels that I can repair, buy the ones that I can't repair, sort out this interior, get a new wheel on there, and then I'll meet you back here when we've got it all back together, or when we're getting it all back together, and then we'll head over to the paint shop, have a look at them liveries, and pick which colour we're going to go for. I'll see you in just a second. 4 items I managed to repair. I did go and buy the rest, so let's get this body back together. In you go. Lovely front bumper that looks like a barbecue grill. Anyway, headlights on, fenders for the front engine cover and the bonnet or hood, whatever you want to call it there. Door that I was managed to replace. I was able to replace. Is probably the words I was looking for. On with the mirror, new door. This fender was new. This fender was repairable. Good to see. And then we got the trunk. On you go. Tail lights. Tail lights. And I haven't bought my license plate yet. What should it say? Which plate should I go for? Let me know in the comments below. That's it all back together, apart from the interior. Let's throw this interior back in. Nice and easy, just because I love how this one looks. I think it looks great with the bow and steering wheel. On it you go in there. Looking pretty tasty. Bit mismatched at the moment. Let's get it over to the paint shop and choose a colour. But let me know in the comments what license plate you would pick. I need to go and get mine sorted before we get it painted, so I'll meet you over there in just a second. Let's get a look at these liveries then. So in slot number 1, you've got the Smith and Parker logo on the front there with a blacked out grille surround and a blacked out rear bed with a gold hinges and the wooden decking in there. Looking pretty sweet. Slot number 1. Slot number 2, I'm just going to have to adjust the colour, is the same but white, so reversed images, and you only get gold detailing on the hinges. Also, while I'm here, I've gone for the plate. I've gone for this from the Pretty Plates pack, same as the last episode. I'll include the link in the description for this one as well. But I've gone for the VM Old DT, as in the Old Daddy T. Quite like that one. This is a Ship at Sunset plate, looking pretty nice. Quite like it. In fact, I'm a big fan of pirate ships, so that's why I went for this one. But there we go. That is livery number 2. Slot number 3, we've got the rusted look that is on there currently. It doesn't change anything to the hinges apart from makes them rusty. So yeah, that's that one. Not what I'm going to be going with. Then we've got the classic hot rod flames. Absolutely love these. I am tempted to go with these on the black just because it looks pretty sweet. And then we've got the blue flames. Quite nice, but I'm not going to go with them today. That changed something at the back? No, just my license plate. And then slot number 6, you've just got the patinaed look with the Smith & Parker. What does that say? Oh, yeah. Classic Fun Club, 63rd. There we go. Yeah, not going to be going for that one either. I'm not sure. I do really like this. I think this looks pretty smart, especially with the gold hinges at the back there. But I don't know. I'm undecided. That is potentially what I'm going for. I'm just not that much of a fan of the black and white. Well, I like the black and white. I just don't know what to do with the rest of it. Maybe do we just chrome it all out? Maybe put some blacks in the engine bay with some white covers on the top. I don't know. I'm going to have a decision and think about this. I will meet you back by the car once I've picked the paint and what colour we're going to go for, and hopefully some combinations of what we could do with the suspension and the engine. I'm undecided at the moment, but I'll make my mind up shortly, and I'll see you in just a couple of moments. I know. Such a cliche. Matte black hot rod with red flames coming out the top. I said I liked it. It was a good looking vehicle. The one thing I did change though was I put the livery slot number 1 on the trunk so I could get the gold hinges on there because I just really liked how they turned out. Still in matte black all the way around. Looking pretty nice. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Still unsure what to do with the underside. I think I'm going to black most of it out and try and match a couple of splashes of that sort of yellowy gold in there as well. Hopefully it will come out nice. We will see. That's my plan. Whether it works or not, we'll find out. So I'll see you in a minute back on the lifter when I've got some suspension parts painted and ready to go back in this car. I'll see you in just a second. Here we are then. We've got everything painted. Let's get the shocks together. Black shocks, gold springs, and obviously unpaintable cap. Looking pretty good. A bit of an orange tinge to it down here, but let's see how it looks on the car. We've obviously got a couple of bits painted gold as well. So the front suspension crossmember is in the gold. That's looking pretty sweet. Let's get a few of these other bits thrown on here. A lot of this is blacked out, especially at the front here. We've just gone for this black chrome or custom black chrome for the upper and lower support arms or suspension arms, whatever you want to call them. Let's get you on. And that shock itself, we've already seen it in the black and gold. Looking pretty good there. Let's get that end link on. Let's get to the brake caliper. Not that it really matters. The brake caliper today is just in a custom chromed black, basically. So let's have a look at it once it gets on. On you go. There we go. Just nice and simple there. Gold and black at the front end. Looking pretty good. Get the rubber bushings in. You can never forget your rubber bushings. There is loads of them. They are on absolutely everything. And then you've got, obviously, your inner and the outer tie rod. Just on there to finish up one side of the suspension. Nice and simple. I'll get the other side done in a few moments. But let's get the rear done with the main black axle. And then, obviously, we've got a black shock on there as well. And black leaf springs, because I thought all of these were a bit too big to be gold at the back. But I have gone for gold on the plate and gold on both of the U-bolts. Looking pretty good there. Obviously, we've got some small rubber bushings to throw in on the leaf springs. On you go and on you go. And then we've got to get that drum brake assembly together on here. So let's get it thrown on. I will get the rest of this finished a little bit later on, and then we'll take a look at the complete suspension all together when we get on that to do the engine bay in just a couple of moments. It won't be long now. I'll get all the fuel tanks in, all the exhausts in. Both sides of the suspension are finished and ready to go. I'm going to crack on with this. I'll see you in the engine bay in just a couple of moments. See you in a sec. All the suspension finished in its glorious black and gold there. Looking really nice. Gold is not normally a colour I go for, if I'm being honest. Black, obviously, is a colour I normally go for. You've seen my videos by now. If you're watching this, black's a colour I go for regularly. Gold is a colour I don't really use that often, but I'm quite liking how it looks on this front end. We've obviously got a couple of little splashes on the back end with the U-bolts and the plates, but the rest of the back end is pretty much blacked out. But the front suspension, you got the gold cross member and the gold springs, which you obviously can see from outside the car. Looking pretty nice. Happy with them. But we need to get this engine bay sorted. I've already done my fuse box. Is already in there, sat at the back. And I've got to go and grab my battery because I always forget. Let's throw the servo in at the power steering reservoir and the radiator C in. And I will go and grab my battery off a charge because I always forget it. Come to me. There we go. Let's get you in and let's get this engine bay finished off. That's it. Very simple engine bay in this one. Obviously, you have got the fuse box, all the fuses underneath. Fuel tanks in, pumps in, fuse boxes in. All of the suspension is in, along with all of the exhaust underneath. Looking pretty good. We've just got the wheels to go, and we've got to go and build that beautiful V8 engine with its supercharger on it, with some splashes of gold. I've got it all ready to go. I'm going to build it up with you guys. Probably not all of it. I'll get the main block done, and then we'll have a look at the top end with some colours. But I want to ask your opinion whether I should use the tuning parts engine heads because they can never be painted, or shall I just go for a regular head that can be painted to black it out? We'll see in a minute. I'm going to jump over. I'm going to get that one started. I'll meet you over there in just a couple of moments. But she is looking good so far. Very happy with how it's turning out. Engine build coming up now. Got most of the underside done already. As you can see, I've got two different engine heads on. I've got the tuning head, which when you paint, just paints the inside strip there, which is really annoying when you want it to just paint this outside to match the rest of the motor. That adds horsepower, makes the car faster, makes the car better, is what I normally would keep. But this looks better. Blacked out, painted to match the rest of the car. Which one do I go with? Do I go with the tuner parts like normal, or do I go with the standard part? Bearing in mind the supercharger can't be painted and is pretty much this colour as well. Both the standard or the tuner one. It doesn't matter which supercharger you go with on this one. I'm thinking I might just keep it as the standard engine, the stock engine, swap that back. Swap that out, go for the stock engine head. We've got the gold covers to go over the top of them that hopefully look pretty good. I can't decide. Well, I haven't decided. I'm going to go with the black and not tune this engine as much as I normally would. So off with this engine head. I need to go and buy the other one and get it painted. So I'm going to get this one stripped. I'll get the new one back on and we'll get it back up to here again with the new one on. And I'll get all of the rocker covers and the push rods all in there. Both sides are ready to go. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. There we go. That's looking loads better with both engine heads in the black there. Looking absolutely fantastic. Let's get the distributor in. Mostly in a black. Obviously, you've got the black body, not painted. And then we've got a red cover. We've got some gold clips going on there. If I can squeeze it in. Where are you? There you are. Nice. On you go, gold clip. Obviously, I've got the cables to put on. But let's get one of these engine head covers on in the gold. Looking at pretty tasty. Almost blending in with the yellow on the stand there. Just a little bit shinier in my opinion. That's looking pretty cool. We've also got the power steering pump in the gold as well. That's got a lot more of a shine to it. Looking pretty sweet. Some belts to throw on here. I suppose I could do that at the end. Let's get this other head cover on. Looking pretty good in your gold. Now one of the biggest things I've got going on this engine. Let's just get the red cables on first. Is that this supercharger intake manifold also being in the gold. Looking pretty sweet at the top end of this. Let's get it finished off and see how good it looks. So we've got obviously the turbo Supercharger on the top there that can't be painted. Carburetors, which also can't be painted. On it you go. Get both of these ones on. Then the air filters on the top, or scoop air filters, whatever you want to call them. And then the actual scoop itself had to obviously be in the gold as well. Looking absolutely fantastic. This engine looks great. I'm so happy with it. Gearbox is in black as well when it goes on, and the starter is in gold if I don't get to show you it later on. Let's get this one finished off. I've got to grab an image, at least one. I mean, look at that. That's looking pretty well. Come off of it, go back on. Forgot the fan. Did I even paint the fan? I did. I painted it black, so it wasn't too much gold sticking out the front. I know some of you really don't like that. Let's grab a picture of that. Looking pretty good. Happy with that. Let's get it off the stand, and let's get it dropped in to the old Daddy T. I've got to go grab my engine crane because, well, sometimes I remember it, sometimes I forget it. It just depends how my day's going, really. So let's get you dropped in. In you go. Looking great, I hope. Let's have a look. Not that you're going to be able to see it too much. Just that big gold scoop sticking out the top there. That's looking pretty good. Let's take one of these fenders off and get a nice look in down the side. That's looking pretty sweet. Quite happy with how that turned out. Obviously, you've got the gold body there. Looking pretty good. Gold body? Gold cross member, I was meant to say, but it didn't come out right. Look at that. And then obviously we've got the gold straps on the back, keeping it all together. Looking pretty tasty. Close the hood there. Get that closed. Looking pretty nice. Got some wheels to go next. I'm thinking I'm going to go for red wheels with white wall tyres. But we will see. Like a little retro hot rod. Not sure. Haven't decided yet. Let's get it up in the air. I'm going to pop the gearbox in and the drive shaft in and the exhaust all in. Then I'll get the wheels done. Then this one will be outside in the sun. Won't be too long now. Let's just get a quick look at the gearbox and the starter while I am here. On you go, and on you go in the gold there. Looking pretty good. Very happy with that. I'm going to crack on. I'll get the rest of this finished. Obviously, the exhaust already in. I'm going to get the rest of this finished. We're going to pick some lovely wheels to go on this. I'll see you outside in just a moment. Here we are then with the finished Smith & Parker Old Daddy T. Looking pretty sweet with its flame paint job, his gold accents underneath, and his gold covered engine. Obviously not all of it, mostly a blacked out engine with just some gold accessories on it. Looking pretty suave. I love it. This interior is just probably the best interior I've seen in the game so far. From the base game car or a DLC car, not from a modded car. You got obviously the gold hinges on the boot lid there, or whatever you want to just call that little tiny bit, trunk, whatever. Looking great. Let's go briefly about the wheels. These are the Rim Basic 1. Had to go for the basic rims at some point, didn't I? The fronts here, these are 14-inch, 205 width, with a 50 profile. Looking pretty snazzy, painted in a matte red on there. Very similar to this, in fact, exactly the same as the tyre size, I believe, that comes standard on the front. On the back, I've gone a little bit bigger. These are a 16-inch with a 275 width and a 35 profile. They're only 1 inch bigger than the basics. The basics come as 15. I've just picked them up to a 16. Painted them red. No slicks on this today. Just some thin white-walled tyres just for added effect. Probably going to regret that, or might regret that, when we head over to the dyno and see what power that engine has got. But overall, I'm loving this. It's got some amazing little details in it. I kind of wish you could get all of this chrome bodywork stuff and just paint it whatever colour you wanted. I'd love to have all of that gold as well. Gold rolling underneath there would be pretty sweet, and that bar there, gold at the back as well. Not worried about the exhaust too much, but would like to get all of these bits gold. If anyone knows of a way, do let me know in the comments below, because that's how I would love to do this. Exactly the same paint job, just with all of the bright work gold on it everywhere, including these bits up here and all of that. If there is a way, do let me know in the comments. I'd love to get this one completely gold. A sport hot rod is just something you don't normally see. But anyway, the old Daddy T Sport with its supercharged V8 2-carb engine, starting with 290 horsepower. We didn't add all of the performance parts today, but we still should have added some power. Let's have a look. An additional 237 horsepower, 82%. Quite high considering I haven't got the tuner engine heads on there. Just got base heads on them. Pitting our new total up to 527. I may regret putting white wall tyres on instead of slicks. Let's head over to the track and find out. Here we are then with the old Daddy T. I have put some slicks on the back. I did make one try and it slid in first gear. So Let's try this again at 527 horsepower from the old Daddy T. Let's go. That is very quick off the line. What speed will we get up to by the end of the runway? Already smashed through 200 kilometers an hour. Where will we end up? 250, coming up towards the 300 mark. There it is. Where will we finish? This is quick. This is very quick on the low acceleration. Starting to slow down a bit now. Probably going to end up around the 370 mark, maybe. Maybe not. 362. 362 kilometers an hour from the old Daddy T. That's pretty good, really. Very squeaky there. Let's get back to the garage. So, 362 kilometers an hour from the Smith & Parker old Daddy T Sport Edition. Very respectable speed, in all honesty. Tied 42nd with the Paul Walker Evo 7 that I did and the Liberty Walk BMW M4. Both, or all three of them cars are 362 kilometers an hour. Pretty good from this old school hot rod. Absolutely loving it. This has been a beautiful car. It's been a lot of fun to work on making that golden engine. I can't wait to make my own configure one of these. I want to slam it to the ground. I just don't think it's going to work with this ride. Maybe we'll jump it up and put some donk wheels on it or something like that. I don't know. We'll see maybe later on. Let's just check that license plate. Oh, I disappeared and came back and the text is all still white. So that's a good sign. Maybe that's been fixed, or maybe it was just one off with the old plate. That one's still white. That one's still got white text on it, but that one doesn't leave, so never mind. But it's looking pretty beautiful. Lovely work on the flame paint job there. It's a shame that this side cuts over that one, whereas that side doesn't cut over it, really. But it is what it is. Still a beautiful flame paint job. I cannot wait to make my own one of these. It is going to be a lot of fun. But let's jump into some facts and figures about this car. Now, I bought this car for $25,700, got ripped off by just under $4,000. But never mind. I spent $39,085 doing this car up today, getting it to the standard. We can see it right here. Top showroom quality, I do believe, if I say so myself. Putting our total spend for this car at $64,785. That is quite a lot. But how much can we get this one sold for? Let's jump in and have a look. Obviously, we tuned up that engine to now a 527 horsepower. We could have got a little bit more if we changed the engine heads to the tuning ones. I just left them as standard so that I could paint them black so they would look as good as they did. So we could have squeezed a bit more horsepower out of this. I think it's 7% for each of them. So maybe could have squeezed a lot more out of it and got a bit of a better top speed. But I'm happy with the speed. I'm more happy with how it looks. How much can we sell this one for, though? 88,400. Now, just a minute ago, when I checked that, I had different wheels on it that weren't painted with slick tyres, and the car sold for a lot more. So bear with me, I'm just going to quickly figure this out. 88,400 and minus 64,785. Let's have a look. I was not prepared for this. Minus 64,785 leaves a profit of 23,615. That is the first time I've not been prepared. Not a bad profit. Could have definitely been a lot worse. When I worked out a minute ago with the slick tyres on still, my mistake, the profit was 31,646. So if you want profit, pit slicks on, not white walls. Maybe that's the difference, but still pretty good. We do need to get this one sold, though, so it's time to say goodbye to the old Daddy T. Off you go. It's been a lot of fun working on you. Loving my sign up there still. Looks absolutely stunning. But what have we got for next time? I've gone a little crazy. I've maybe gone a little bit crazy. This is another Chevrolet El Camino. I've done an El Camino before, but this is the Hot Wheels custom El Camino. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, I'm just going to go into that quickly because it's 613 horsepower from the standard V8 overhead valve engine. We will be swapping that out. This could be another top speed aboard contender. But look at what's going on at the back here. So if I just go into this, there we go, and go into the add parts mode, this is a giant exhaust setup, just set to look like a turbine. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see when we get it built, but you've got multiple fuel tanks back here set out to build you what I'm assuming is a turbine. You've got more exhaust going in into the fuel tanks that are listed at the side. You've got more fuel tanks here. Got a giant intercooler at the back there. I mean, this thing is just insane. I cannot wait to get this one built. It is going to be a lot of fun with this little El Camino, and it already looks pretty mean. We have got some shopping options. If you've seen my other El Camino video, you will see some of the shopping options. Obviously, we now have a lot more with this Hot Wheels custom. I can't wait to get this one built. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. We're going to make it look absolutely ridiculous. We're going to make it go absolutely ridiculous. It is going to be a lot of fun with just a random drive shaft just hanging out just there. You know how it is. Anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and we are still trying to get to 100 subscribers by my 100th video. Currently sitting at 82. Do you want to help me get there? If so, click that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed and you still want to help out, watch the videos, like the content, leave a comment, let me know what you think. It all helps out the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.